So I travel all over just to check out motocross facilities and let you know what to expect when you get there. This one's a new one though. It's my buddy's 50th birthday, so we're celebrating big. We've rented out Dan Woodley's Motocross AirBNB in Fort Pierce, Florida. Let's go check it out. Let's ride on the tracks, check out the house, and have a great time. Let's talk about the property itself. I think it's 30 acres of land, which is plenty enough space for 2 motocross tracks, which is what they've got here. You've got the main motocross track behind me and then the small supercross track. The supercross track can also be used as a kids track or a learning track. There's nothing too big on it. Don't let the fact that it's a supercross track scare you off. It's just a smaller track. Very tight 180s, but on a smaller bike, that's perfectly fine. No big deal for kids on 50s, 65s, so forth and up. On the big track, you've got a good variation of tabletops and doubles. The doubles themselves are pretty peaked, but you can still roll them. You don't have to commit every single time, and if you come up short, it's not gonna really mess you up too bad. The dirt is primarily sand. There's a little bit of a dirt mix in, but it's clumping pretty well. If there's moisture kept in this, or if it's rained in the past 2 days and it's in really good shape, but if it's dry, it can get pretty dry and dusty. As I said in the video, make sure you've got some good traction on your tires. We've only spun a few laps, starting to get some lines in the jump faces, but it's really not bad. Not yet, at least. Once we get some more guys out here today, we've got some more people that just showed up, so let's see what happens. There are no RV hookups on the property that you can use. The owner has an RV stored in the back, but there are no RV hookups, but there is plenty of space for parking. If you want to bring a camper out, if you want to bring out a bus or your trailers, plenty of space to park those. Let's do something I haven't done in a while. Kickstart a bike. I also haven't ridden a 450 in a very long time. I'm used to my 250, so we'll see how this goes today. There are 2 tracks on the property. A main motocross track, which is a little over a mile long, and then a supercross track, amateur supercross track, which is about a half mile long. Obviously we are in central South Florida, so it's a very sandy track. Make sure you have good sand tires, or you will be sliding all over the place. So the way it works is you can do a day rental of the track, or you can do an overnight stay and have access to this house, which is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house with a kitchen and a heated pool. Just talking with the owner before we hit the track. He said every 6 months or so they make track changes, and that we are the last people to be on this layout before he changes it next week. I think it's a pretty cool layout. It's a good use of space. Could definitely use to be watered. But again, that's South Florida. I'm riding my friend Brad's 450. I'm not used to a 450. And I am sliding all over the place on this seat too. a good mix of tabletops and doubles. Some are more peaked than others. Let's go say hi to Brad.
You see that section I was jumping?
No, I was watching my track.
Double, double.
Where at? Right here?
In the middle. Yeah.
Ah, kick starts. Ah, I'm too old for this. Nice.
I like that part.
That's fun, yeah. They do prefer that your groups be at 10 people or less. The price goes up when you get more than 10 people involved because you have to pay for the additional insurance that they have carried in the property here. I love this little tiki hut right here. Right on the edge of the track, you can view both the Supercross and the motocross track from it. Nicely shaded, gets a good breeze coming through. This is a cool place to hang out and just watch your friends or watch your family ride. This KX 450 SR, I just took it for one lap. Oh my goodness, I gotta say, this is an awesome bike. Probably one of the smoothest and easiest bikes I've ever ridden. I would love to get one, but I can't afford it, so I'm gonna stick with my 250 for now. But if you ever get a chance to ride the 450 SR, take that chance, man. This is a great bike. I gotta say, even after just 20 laps, this track is a lot of fun. I like the layout a lot. I like the differences that there is available. You've got flat turns, you've got bowl turns, you've got various different types of jumps, even the whoop section. It's all really well built. I would definitely come back. Now, if you have a group of people and you want to go do a vacation somewhere, this is a great spot to be, especially during the winter time. If you're a snowbird, make the trip down here, fly down. There's even a company they have a deal with to rent bikes. They don't rent bikes on the property, but there is a company that you can work with to get the bike out here. If you don't have one, you can bring with you. MX Bike Rentals is based in Miami, which isn't too far from here. Contact the number here and you can have a bike show up and you can go rip it out there. After a half day of riding, the sun is setting, the weather's fantastic. I'm gonna go crack open a beer and hang out by the pool. See you tomorrow. So if you're new to the channel, you might not know how I typically rate tracks. I like to give the track a valuation of how much it would cost to ride, and then I also like to look at things like how far would you drive to get to the facility. This is a bit of a unique situation because of the fact that it's the Airbnb with the house and all that, so the valuation is going to be a little different. Current pricing might change, so I'm not going to quote numbers as to how much it costs. I'll put the link below to the website to book the facility, but I will say it is a bit expensive for just a typical ride day. If you get a group of friends together, it breaks up that cost and it's very, very doable. Right now we've got about 6 riders out here. It's very possible with 6 riders. If this was a public track that you could just go to like any other racetrack, show up for the day and ride, this would be about a $40 track, maybe a $45 track. But because of the fact that this is a private rental, this is something that you can book out with friends, I think it's well worth the money. We're having an absolute blast. We're talking about potentially coming back at some point. This is cool. I really like this type of thing. Good old ant roosted me. Now the distance traveled rating that I usually give is a bit different too because of the fact that this is a rental property again. I took a flight from Houston to Fort Myers, then drove from Fort Myers across the state of Florida, and I don't think that's too much at all. It's a pretty cool idea. It's a cool concept. It's something that you can do from anywhere in the country. And again, like I said, you can rent bikes too, not from the property, but from the company they're dealing with. So you could literally just fly out here with your gear, take a rental car drive over, have the bike show up, and you're good to ride. That's a really cool thing. So I can't put a time frame on it. It's hard to do that. What I can do is look at it from a perspective of, if this was a public track, how far would I drive to get to it? I'd say it's probably about a 3-hour track, maybe 2.5 hours depending on the conditions, but the fact that it's the rental property, they groom it every time that somebody rents the facility. So you're always going to show up to a prime track. So this Supercross track isn't very Supercrossy. It's pretty tame. They call it the amateur Supercross track, which actually makes it great for beginners. The girl that just on the footage right there, this is her first time ever riding on a track like this, and she's doing perfectly fine.